Got up this morning and I was looking through the articles and I kept seeing this whole thing about Keith Morrison's jailhouse interview with Lori Vallow Daybell, the courtroom insider. I haven't watched it, but they kept citing Nate Eaton talking to Keith Morris. Okay, so I read some of it. I posted on the community wall another little tidbit there. Y'all know tonight that Dateline thing's happening. I'm not going to be here. Wayne's taking me to Altamont Mountain for dinner at a really nice restaurant. But I do care what Keith Morrison had to say, his thoughts on his interview with the hooker, okay? So, hello there, Kathy Mama Bear. Hello, NF Mom. How are y'all doing? So, y'all. I'm sitting here in front of the screen, and what I did was I went on Courtroom Insider, and I didn't want to hear what she had to say because it was all the same teaser type of clips that I'm sure he played. And I was like, okay, let's just laser in on this with Keith Morrison and see what his thoughts were about all this. Hello, Elba Lopez, Kim Nix, Hope Grace. Hello, Peg. How are you? Are you having coffee? Y'all, I had to get a shower. I got a lot I got to do today, so you'll just have to excuse me. Have you noticed how moisturizing my face looks? When I get out of the shower, I put a moisturizer on and let it sink in because this old-ass skin of mine, it gets dry, especially during the winter months. It don't help that I love coffee, which has caffeine in it, but, that's neither here nor there. And then, obviously, KJ's got to have a cigarette. Hello, Hope Grace and April Gann and all of y'all. How y'all doing? So what I'm going to do, what I did, on the little line thing on the YouTube, where it shows a little picture of each segment of there. I went past her ugly ass mug. And I waited until I saw Keith Morrison's face. And then I pressed play, and then I had to back it up just a tad to get, because honestly, y'all, I don't know. I just read what was in the articles. So I don't know what Keith Morrison's going to say to Nate Eaton. Again, this is Courtroom Insider with East Idaho News, Nate Eaton. So give him all the credit in the world, and we're going to go through it together. Kathy Mama Bear says, I'm sitting here with my coffee and Siggy too, just like we're together. Well, there you go, y'all. We hadn't had a coffee with KJ in a long time. Y'all, this was the cup. I got two of them. Andrew got me for Christmas. He got me 2 coffee cups and some coffee that went with it. I won't plug it, but, So, but I love this cup. I do. I've got all kinds of good coffee cups and all that good stuff. Hello, Denise Gray. So anyway, I'm going to try to get through this. It is early here. What time is it? It's 8:04 here in Tennessee, at least in this time zone. I think we have 2 different time zones here in Tennessee, but it's 8:04 in the morning. I will confess that I've had a little bit of coffee, and obviously I've had a shower, so that's kind of woke me up a little bit. But we're going to do this together because the Rays and others, I'm sure many of y'all are going to watch that Dateline tonight. And I want you to look at me when I say this. Ain't nothing wrong with that. KJ just ain't going to do it, okay? But tomorrow, I'm hoping to put something together to give my reaction, which, by the way, I'm going to put on the community wall. Now, hear me. I'm going to put on the community wall a picture of that dang hooker, and I'm going to explain at the top. I'm going to Rays and others, if y'all watch the Dateline, I want you to put in the comments your thoughts or what you heard, because I'm going to include that in my live stream on Saturday. I care what you think, okay? I want to know what you think. And so if you are going to listen, please Put those in the comments. Be part of the content. I can't think of everything, right? Hello, Edie Ruth. Hello, Sugar Butt Starburst. Oh, Sugar Butt Starburst. That's so un-American. Never liked coffee. Oh, well, to each their own, right? So let's get started. I hope you'll be able to hear it. Obviously, y'all, you know this channel. I'm not a graphic person in terms of graphics or split screens or anything like that. I'm just going to react to Nate Eaton. Here he is, y'all. There's Nate Eaton. And he's fixing to talk to us with Keith Morrison, okay? Hope Grace says that Lori is delusional and depraved. Okay, here we go, y'all. I hope y'all can hear it. I think you will be able to. Here we go. And I will be stopping. So if you haven't seen the Courtroom Insider, I'm just now keying this up. But if you haven't seen it, go watch it in its entirety. Or you can come back and hear my thoughts on it and go straight to the Courtroom Insider with Nate Eaton and Keith Morrison, okay? So here we go.
Here is Keith Morrison. Always so good to see you, Keith. I saw that, I think this is the 7th or 8th Dateline about this case.
Number 7.
7. Yeah. Have you ever done a...
Oh, wait a minute. This is the 7th Dateline that they've done on the Hussy and Chad. Now, you know what just pops in my head right now? Today is March 7th. He's done 7 episodes, and guess what, y'all? OKJ was born 7 pounds, 7 ounces. Is that a coincidence? Yeah, but it's interesting nonetheless, right? Well, he's telling Nate that he has done many of those, and I guarantee you, they have absolutely made a shitload of money on this case, and I'm really interested to know what Keith Morrison has to say, his thoughts here. So here we go.
Another topic with this many episodes?
I don't believe so. No, I think 7 is going to be the record. And will that be the last one? We don't know.
Well, if it is the last one, what an ending. Tell me how this interview came to be, Keith.
Well, we've been communicating with Lori for quite some time, and I suspect you might have been doing the same thing, Dave. And she would dangle possibilities. And eventually, she talked to Shane a number of times, and Shane Bishop, our producer, and then she struck up a relationship with Brittany Morris, our associate producer on this story.
All right. First of all, would somebody please put it in the comments? Can y'all hear everything okay? Will y'all please do that? Before I continue on, I need to know that y'all can hear Keith Morris. Edie Ruth can hear it. Can y'all let me know? Kathy Mama Bear, can you let me know? Can y'all hear him and Nate talking clearly? Joe Knight, thank you. April Gann says yes. T.S. Jackson 72 says yes. Okay, I know. All y'all have to do is go to Courtroom Insider. You can watch and you ain't got to hear me come in here and stop it and all that. If that's aggravating to you, then I apologize. But, this is the first time I'm hearing it. And, he's talking about that Nate Eaton and him both have been talking to her for some time. What the hell? What? She's a freaking serial killer. And they've been what? Emailing? What? We're going to find out here? What the hell's she saying? Let's find out.
Brittany's a great up-and-coming producer, but also just a nice person. And Brittany arranged the interview. So I was very surprised, frankly, at this call. Lori can interview with us, and the jail says it's okay. They're going to give us 90 minutes. And I was astonished.
Frankly. 90 minutes.
Usually, as you know, if you go to interview somebody in a prison or a jail, they'll maybe give you half an hour if you're lucky, or an hour if you've got to do a whole kind of camera setup and so on. But no, 90 minutes. So I thought that would be plenty of time to get what we needed from anybody, but it turned out it wasn't enough to get what we needed from Lori that long. I could have gone on with her for a lot longer.
Oh, there you go, y'all. At the beginning, he talks about, her, that it wasn't enough and everything. And now he says he wants to go on with her. And he said, this is the last one. At least he thinks it is. Do y'all think this is just going to be a continual freaking moneymaker here? They're going to continue. She wants to interview all she can interview. Well, I'll tell you what. They better damn think about these victims' family members. And oh my gosh, y'all. He gets 90 minutes with her. Let's see what he says.
Right. And Keith, she had mentioned to me at one point she wanted to talk to you before she was sentenced here in Idaho. But they wouldn't let cameras into that.
Oh, that's right. Yes, there was that discussion. Yeah.
Right. So she obviously has been thinking about chatting with you for some time, for years now. So the broad question is, what was it like being there face to face with her and trying to interview her?
Well, she came in, she winked at our cameras on the way in. She was upbeat, she was charismatic, she was friendly, she was practically flirtatious.
Folks, some of y'all just say, okay, Jay, she says this demon possession stuff and I don't believe it, and that's fine. You don't have to believe in demon possession. But when he's sitting here and telling me she's upbeat, winking at the freaking cameras and doing all this, acting just, what did he say, charismatic and all this other bullshit? This woman is a convicted serial killer. Her children are dead. And this is how she's going to behave? Denise Gray says, I hope Lori's not being paid for the interview. That's another question right there. Why can't we? Maybe we'll find out here. I don't know. You think Dateline NBC wants the world to know that they've paid the hussy some money for her interview, 90 minutes of her time? No. They don't want no one to know how the money changes the hands. All they give a shit about is freaking dang putting it out here as a freaking damn circus, a freak show.
She was, there was an undercurrent of anger in what she was saying.
Well, anger. Oh, the hussy had an undercurrent of anger. I'll tell you why she's got an undercurrent of anger. Because she's got this freaking demon inside of her that wants the hell out of the corner. That's what that's all about. She knows she ain't never gonna be out on no damn sandy ass beach no more. She just does not want to ever accept that she is a freaking serial killer. She can't stand it that she can't control the narrative.
Good many things.
That's right, Jet Set Jay.
In discussion of those topics. But she had her own agenda, and she knew exactly how long she had. She's no dummy. And I think she had decided ahead of time that she was going to tell this shaggy dog tale that would take up the time. I wouldn't be able to ask all my embarrassing questions. And she could lay out this, frankly, big lie about what happened to Tyler and JJ.
And I put on the community wall, and in my last live stream, and it was common sense. It ain't like I had some freaking clairvoyance. What the hell else was she gonna do about, her defense on Charles Vallow? Of course she has to go with her stupid ass interview at the police station there along with Tylee and Alex. And then on top of it all, what did I say? And many of y'all already knew it before I even said it. She was gonna blame Tylee. And this whole thing he's talking about right here, about how she knew she had an agenda, she knew what she wanted to talk about. Y'all, she's evil. She's diabolical. That demon in there knows exactly. This isn't Lori being charismatic or sharp or smart or anything. It's the freaking demon, y'all.
But it would require such a big workout. She'd have to tell the whole kind of life story of her daughter Tylee, and spin some tales about that, for which no evidence, right?
No evidence.
And that, the chore was to kind of get her off that train track and get her onto what we wanted to talk about. And a good deal of the kind of combativeness back and forth was in that process.
Combativeness.
I've spoken with people who have dealt with
Combativeness. This woman thinks that she is above everyone. And she wants everything to be the way she wants it. And Keith Morrison is sitting here telling Nate that they tried to get her, she had her agenda. She was going to go the way she thought it was going to go for her. And then him being the freaking excellent journalist he is, and y'all know Keith Morrison gets to the nitty gritty. By God, I'm telling y'all, she could not fight against the reality, even though she put on this freaking stupid ass act and explanations.
with her legally, you could say, also family members, and from what they've told me, their conversations with her sound like your conversation with her, that she speaks about what she wants to talk about, and even answers to simple questions are not given.
There you go, y'all. There you go. Let me tell you something. This is family members that Nate Eaton's talking about, also people within the legal community. And I'm just telling y'all.
A psychiatrist would have
Are they going to expound on family members? Because if anybody wants to know how that dang hooker is, Larry K. Kresha, their family, Charles Vallow's family, knows all about it. Are we going to take the word of Melanie Gibb?
a field day with her, and I'm sure they did.
A psychiatrist would have a field day with her. Well, obviously not, because she should have gotten the freaking death penalty. And here we are, y'all. Here we are. She's not going to get the death penalty because she sat up in some damn freaking mental health facility up there in Idaho.
You know, when they sent her off to that mental institute, the state hospital, right, to be treated. And they said she had delusions and delusional disorder. What was there was some specific religious component to it?
Hyper-religiosity, and she has delusional disorder with narcissistic features. You know, oh, you want to grab hold of that? So, yeah, that's the reason. That's why she is the way she is. Folks, I'm telling you, mankind can put a freaking damn diagnosis on this dang hooker all they want. She is demon-possessed, y'all. Demon-possessed. I'm not saying she ain't got mental health issues. I'm just saying this woman is demon-possessed.
And that's certainly there, but it's pretty deeply seated as far as I can tell.
Deeply seated. That's what a demon does.
When does the legal system feel that somebody really is mentally ill? And what effect should that have on crime and punishment? It's different in different countries and different jurisdictions.
Let me just say this, okay? I read in the news that Brian Koberger's defense is saying take the death penalty off the table because he has autism. Well, do y'all know how many autistic people there are in this world? How many children that are being diagnosed with autism? Autism is not some kind of negative. There are a lot of good, wonderful, light-filled autistic. J.J. Vallow was autistic. And so what? We're just, okay, they got autism. They can go out here and murder all these damn people. Y'all, high-functioning autism. All I'm saying is this. You can't just say, well, they got autism, so they don't get the death penalty. They have to spend life in prison and all of this and that. And Keith Morrison says, where's that line? Where's that line of, mental illness and how culpable are they really? Folks, you and I both know there are things in this world called misdiagnosed, or all of a sudden, even though there's no freaking history of it, in any of these killers' medical records, all of a sudden they've got autism, or all of a sudden they've got obsessive compulsive disorder, blah, 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 blah. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. If Lori was from a poor family, she would have never been offered all the perks, says Denise Gray. And what is this one right here? Sherry King says, and even hinting she should be declared mentally ill, she's playing him like a fiddle. Well, Sherry, I don't know. I mean, I hadn't heard him say that yet, that she said she was mentally ill. From what I know, she does not want anyone to think she's mentally ill. She wants everyone to think that she's got the freaking answers to truth. The truth is this woman is a freaking serial killer. Plain and simple.
She's going on trial again for the murder of her husband. And will that become part of the defense? If I were her defense attorney, I would say yes, but she's her own defense attorney.
There you go. There you go. Keith Morrison's just spelled it out. If Lori would allow an attorney to represent her, because now, obviously she's going to represent herself, and y'all know how it laid out in Idaho. She did not want to go along with that PSI, any of that material, these tests that she has to take, which Judge Boyce said at her sentencing. He said she didn't participate in it. She wouldn't participate in it. And that would have helped in her mitigation. She does not want anyone to think she's mentally ill. She wants to continue down this road that she's right, everyone else is wrong. If she would have allowed her, this defense attorney, these standby Daybell team counsel people, it's ripe for the picking, y'all. She's already been in a mental hospital. They have ruled her competent. Y'all know that this doesn't mean that she hasn't got these issues. It just means she knows about this. And obviously, she's already said to the judge, I've got experience. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Doesn't see herself as mentally ill. She sees herself as the only one who has the key to the truth.
She's the only one that's got she's the only one that's got the key to the truth. Well, I'll tell you what, y'all, just for sake of argument, y'all know it's a crock of shit, but let's just for sake of argument, that she has the key to truth. What the hell? What is she doing in freaking jail? Fixing to go on trial in Arizona and spend the rest of her freaking days in Idaho, Pocatello Women's Prison. And she's got the key to the truth. How is it that she's where she's at with shackles on and them nasty ass damn orange flip-flops? If I had the key to the truth, if you had the key to the truth, y'all, do you think that we would somehow use that to murder people and end up in freaking incarcerated? Give me a break.
But the truth is in her head. And
the truth is in her head.
It's in a attractive, smart, bright, quick.
Attractive? This woman is not attractive. She is absolutely nasty ass, hussy, let's throw nickels while she stands on the street corner, spread them legs. She is ugly as all get out. And, Keith Morrison's entitled to his freaking dang opinion about her, but I've looked at the pictures. She is disgusting. Now, before she, got with Chad Daybell and everything, I saw pictures, Mrs. Texas, and years before that, she was a beautiful woman. But I'll tell you, as I sit here, when a demon possesses somebody, they become disgusting. They start to become, we're talking about, my God, she's disgusting. Attractive, smart. No, the demon's smart. Because I'm going to tell you what, if this woman was intelligent, first of all, she'd have never murdered anybody. But number two, if she's so damn smart, how in the hell did she get busted? Because she's a dumbass.
With a quip and a talk back.
A quip and a talkback.
That person with that brain is her own worst enemy in some ways, but also she is engaging and will take up all kinds of time not getting to the point.
She can't get to the point.
Now she's her own attorney. Did you sense a feeling of arrogance from her about, like, I am the attorney, I am in charge, no one tells me what to do?
Not really. More of a, it's a learning curve, but I'm pretty good at this, and the judge is being pretty lenient and letting me do what I want to do. So that attitude, but there was an aggrieved nature to all of this. Like nothing is ever fair, and not whining about it, but just I understand things aren't fair, so I want to do things my way. And
things are not fair for the hussy, y'all. Keith Morrison is good about filling these things out. He says that she doesn't think things are fair, so she's stepping up to the plate. Well, what? Fair that she didn't get away with freaking murdering everybody? Fair to her that the man's law was going to damn lay the hammer down on her ass? She's gonna take over this thing and she's going to make things right? There's no way to make things right, not in her mind. And for him to talk about her brain and all this and that, it ain't got a damn thing to do with that damn woman's brain. It's got to do with that damn evil freaking demon possessing her body, taking her over, and guess what? She invited it in.
And try to get people to hear what the truth is.
To get people to hear what the truth is. Lori wants to take things over so people will hear the truth. There is no truth in the father of lies, which is a demon in her. She is absolutely, every freaking word that comes out of her mouth is nothing more than an evil, diabolical lie. I can't stress it enough.
Did she, I guess, what was your most surprising element out of the whole 90-minute conversation?
I think I was surprised by how engaged and the raw native intelligence.
Raw native intelligence. You
begin to sort of ask a certain line of questions. She knows exactly where you're going, and
she does know exactly where someone's going when they're asking her these questions. Because them demons, they know exactly. They know. And she absolutely is going to avoid whatever she can and try to stray away from the truth, the real truth of the matter, into her freaking damn evil ass lies.
Has a dance to get out of it. And
she has a dance to get out of it.
And I was surprised at her capacity to do that, frankly. Quite often people who are, who are delusional about things will spin you outrageous, crazy stories, but they don't do so with quite the same alacrity and charm.
Humor, y'all. Charm and humor. She can spin her lies with charm and humor. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to him and I understand he's looking at it like delusions. He's trying to explain this woman, the way she thinks, the way she behaves, and all this and that. And all I can see out of my little freaking damn little itty bitty brain of mine coming out of here, out of Tennessee, that he is describing demon possession.
So, do you get the impression that I like the woman? I did, in a weird way. I liked her.
He likes Lori, y'all. Keith Morrison likes Lori. Give me a break. Give me a break. Now, I'm sorry, y'all. Everyone has a right to their own opinion. He likes her. He likes her, y'all. I can't believe I'm hearing it. I just cannot believe it, y'all.
I know that this is a woman who killed her children.
Okay, he says, I like her, and I know this woman killed her children. How does that square? I mean, does somebody want to explain to me how that's squared? That on one hand, I like her, but at the same time, I'm telling you, I already know she's a murderer of children. I mean, I'm sorry, Keith Morrison. You have a right to your opinion, but I don't know how anybody could like that freaking damn hooker.
You know, participated in the killing of husband, participated in the killing of the wife of her lover.
Yeah, and you like her.
You know, planned presumably other killings too, as she was going to go on trial for those things. But, and yet she is a very interesting person to talk to.
Right, and she stayed the whole 90 minutes. She didn't leave. She didn't get upset.
Even she said, well, you know, we can't probably finish this in 90 minutes, so we'll just have to come back and do it again. The jailer said, no, you won't.
It just wasn't enough time for her, y'all. She needed the spotlight. She loves the attention. She loves the attention. 90 minutes wasn't enough for the hooker. She said, we'll have to come back. Do you think Dateline NBC will come back? I mean, you know, we're talking about clicks and freaking all of that freaking money for advertising. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. And don't get me wrong, y'all. People are curious about the dang freaking freak show that she is, the clown show she is. I get it. But it's just so disgusting, y'all. It really is. If you take into totality what the victims' family members have been through and what they've got to deal with,
But
don't laugh.
But curiously, even though I was terribly frustrated at the end of this, I would go back and do it again.
So in a way, can you see how maybe some people, I don't want to say fall under her charm, but could be attracted to her?
Or I could see how she could be the ringleader in a group.
Nate asks, could you see how someone could be attracted to her and her charms? And Keith Morrison says, yes, I don't know. You know, I don't know I'm not attracted to her. What I'm trying to get across is this whole concept that nobody that's got a decent heart and a spirit could absolutely wrap this around their head, how evil and diabolical and demon-possessed she is. And perhaps that is the attractiveness. In other words, trying to figure out how to freaking see the red flags of these damn freaking evil-ass people so that I can protect myself in the future. That's me, though. I just don't understand how people could be attracted or charmed by the hooker.
Group of people who were addicted to some kind of out there idea.
He says these people, there are people out here that can be attracted to this out there idea. Folks, make no mistake. There are people out here today that are still believing the same bullshit of Lori and Chad. You think because they're incarcerated now that someone hadn't stepped up to the plate to continue this damn bullshit? It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
If they could be sucked into an idea of that sort, if they were susceptible to it, then Lori could certainly be the person who would charm them into following her down the yellow brick road.
So there you go. These people get sucked in? I don't think so. Or they're susceptible? Yes. Because susceptibility in terms of being sucked into some of this bullshit, the susceptibility is not having any grounding at all in the truth of the matter. In fact, what they're being taught absolutely makes them even more vulnerable because what they're being taught is a bunch of lies. And when you build something up from lies, you are going to be vulnerable. You are going to be susceptible. You are not a victim if you do not protect yourself with the truth of the matter. Now, what the truth of the matter to different people is their own damn business. But a truth built on a lie cannot stand.
You've interviewed a lot of people from behind bars, in prisons, in jails, exonerated, guilty. How does this one compare?
Oh, I don't think I'd try to compare it with anything. I mean, look, I talked to a preacher one time who told me about how he cut up his wife into little bits in a bathtub and put them all into a Tupperware container and took them out and buried them under a cairn in the desert. But even so, when he dies, he said he knows he's going to, they'll be together again in eternity, and they'll, pick up where they left off. So, and seem to really believe that. But I'm listening to the story thinking, oh boy, this guy, he really is wacky. But he was wacky. And I'm sorry don't mean to be terribly dismissive about somebody, but he was clearly mentally ill. This one believes all that same kind of stuff, and yet has the ability to make you enjoy the conversation at the same time.
Enjoy the conversation. Keith Morrison is letting Nate Eaton know that Lori has the ability to help you to enjoy the conversation. That's demon possession, y'all. That's demon possession. And by the way, she's done said, I read it in the news articles, they talk about, and we've heard it already, where Tylee and JJ and Jesus have visited her and all this and that. Well, this woman wants to say that Tylee accidentally committed homicide on JJ and then killed herself. That's a scary thought, that this woman actually wants people to believe that if Tylee actually did that, which we know is not true, that she's visiting Lori. Again, y'all, demon possession. Demon possession. It's not just about murdering innocents. It's about after they're murdered, the demon continues to just do what they can in the name, the reputation of that innocent person after the fact. It's just a continual devouring nature. And it's really meant to hurt people like Kobe Ryan and other people that love Tylee and JJ. It's not meant to make Lori look innocent. I mean, she is not that so far gone, because the demons got her taken over, and she's allowing it, by the way, that she doesn't know that no one's going to believe her bullshit story. If anyone thinks that Lori thinks, I'm going to tell Keith Morrison what really happened, I told Kobe what really happened, and I know that Kobe's going to share that podcast with everyone, and everyone's going to believe me, that's not the purpose of what she's doing that for. She's doing it because the demon wants to pour the salt in the wounds, continue to hurt people. It's the only way the demon can get to people. The only way the demon can continue to devour the innocence of the memory of Tylee Ryan, JJ Vallow, Tammy Daybell. Oh, Tammy Daybell's her friend, don't you know? Let me tell you what, Tammy Daybell would not ever want to be friends with this hooker. I mean, for goodness sake, give me a break.
Or be frustrated but enjoy the conversation in tandem.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly a great point, Kathy Mama Bear. That story makes absolutely no sense to anyone but Lori, because Tylee was gone long before JJ. It is fact that Tylee was murdered, a couple of weeks before JJ. Okay? So this woman, again, it isn't about, I got to figure it out. I got to figure out another scenario to tell people so that they'll believe I'm innocent and that Chad and I are going to be exonerated one day because we're innocent. The facts, the truth does not line up with her bullshit story. Sherry Keene says, I can't see how anyone could be attracted to her. Her face looks twisted and evil. She's not mentally ill, and even if she was, it's no excuse. Yet Keith comments on it. Obviously, y'all. Obviously. Good comment there, Sherry and Kathy.
Odd. It was just odd.
Right.
It was exhausting. I came out of there thinking, oh my God, I don't ever want to do that again. But now I would. It's weird.
Right. You also spoke with Sheriff Ball, Detective Hermosillo, Doug Hart, some other people that we haven't really heard from since the trial, and Colby. What was your conversation like with Colby, Lori's oldest son?
It was a heartfelt conversation and about what he has gone through and how he is trying to rebuild his life. And I must say that I felt for Colby so much more after having spoken to his mother than I could have before. Colby has gone through an awful lot in his life, and having had as his kind of North Star and the woman of his, he adored his mother growing up. They were close, he would, but seeing what he would have to deal with and how he would have to dodge her behaviors and kind of be thrilled some of the time and kind of hide some of the time. It would be very hard for a kid. And the divorces he had to go through and the huge fights with ex-husbands and court battles and the constant back and forth, and it just would be a very, very difficult life. And then to be abandoned essentially, and discover after his abandonment that his little sister and little brother have disappeared and were killed by his mother.
Folks, I don't know. I'm not going to be watching it. That's why I'm going to rely on the Rays and others to go onto the community wall and tell me what your thoughts are on the Dateline. But if Keith Morrison is giving us a clue that Kobe's going to talk about what it was like for him growing up, because he's saying 1 minute he's thrilled, Kobe's thrilled growing up, the next minute he's trying to hide. That would be interesting, fascinating. How long had this dang hooker been talking this shit? Also, bringing up the divorces and stuff like that. Will this bring in Joe Ryan? Will this bring in Charles Vallow? It has to, right? I'm interested in any of y'all's thoughts on that, if it indeed gets brought up by Kobe Ryan. Because Keith Morrison would not bring up these aspects unless something is going to be said besides this one little clip of Kobe talking about what they did to Tylee was hateful and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something that's going to give us a little insight into everything. And for him to say that, Lori, he just adored her and all of that, it's just, y'all, it's just disgusting. I don't know of any other word. Kathy Mama Bear says, Megan says Lori has never taken the blame for anything her whole life. Why should she do it now? Sherry Keene says, do Nate and Keith care the trial could be affected by this crap they put out there? Well, Sherry, if Lori's talking about Tylee and JJ, right, or Tammy Daybell, none of that is going to be included in this trial unless there's 404B material, which we haven't seen any motions on any of that. No motions in limine from the defense. We haven't seen anything where the state has talked about 404B, which y'all know what that is. That's when you can take other acts, patterns, not to prove character, but to show a pattern of criminality. How any of this would be brought into the trial of Charles Vallow's murder, other than to say on March the 11th, Lori doesn't want cameras in the courtroom. Well, she just damn did herself a disservice. Does anyone believe that she really meant that? And some say, well, KJ, she got her way in Idaho. Why not get her way in Arizona? Because number one, Idaho, just as Keith Morrison said at the beginning of this interview, they were not going to allow Nate or Keith to go and interview her in Idaho. If she'd have had her way in Idaho, she would have had that interview. And but here in Arizona, they're allowing it. So when she does this March 11th thing, she can't very well give reasons why there shouldn't be publicity on her trial when her ass is ugly, nasty, stupid ass interview with Keith Morrison. God bless him. God bless him. I like Keith Morrison. But for him to say he liked her, that she was charming, she's attractive, and all this other stuff, difference of opinion here, y'all. Difference of opinion. And Kathy Barilla says it pure and simple. The children and other victims are the ones being forgotten. Oh, really, Kathy? It's not that she doesn't want any cameras in the courtroom. She just doesn't want court TV there. Well, I'll tell you what, Kathy. I think that she wouldn't have had a problem with cameras in her court case if freaking Thomas and Archie there, she let them run the show. This time she's running the show. She knows that you got a prayer in Idaho. She's got to go back there and live out her days in the freaking lick club there. But here, she's going to do things a little bit differently. She just didn't get the attention she wanted in Idaho. But bouncing up and down in the chair with the freaking unicorn ponytail, coming out of them side doors to smile and sit down in the freaking dang cop car where everybody could see her damn veneers. You know, the same veneers that she used her mouth for on old Chad Daybell there. Disgusting. Disgusting.
Then he talks to her in prison. She finally agrees, in jail rather. She finally agrees she's going to talk to him, and he has her on his podcast, and she lied to him, and I think that was the final straw.
She lied to him. He's bringing up Kobe's podcast, and I'm curious. I'm absolutely curious if Kobe decided to allow Dateline to have bits and pieces or the whole thing, but specifically bits and pieces of his conversation with the hooker where she tried to blame Tylee. You know what's interesting about it all, y'all? Think about where her most hatred and her most blame goes to. Tylee Ryan. And isn't that exactly what she did ever since she was a little girl? She ruined Tylee by lying to Tylee about Joe Ryan molesting her. She knew what she had done to her own daughter through the years. Every time she looked at Tylee Ryan, she knew that she had fed Tylee lies, coached Tylee, which these governmental agencies for children said they felt like Tylee Ryan had been coached. Lori could not have Tylee in her life through all this stupid ass stuff she was believing because she knew in her heart of hearts, number one, she had destroyed Tylee. So this whole idea that Lori's some elite lowercase g thing, how would lowercase g do that to an innocent child, right? And number two, make no mistake, Lori knew Tylee knew that Lori wasn't any of that shit. And Lori had to continue to feed that demon. And, people say, well, KJ, it was really about Tylee learning what Alex and Lori did to Charles. And yes, that's true. But it was also, Lori knew that Tylee knew that Lori wasn't all these things that Lori wanted to be. And again, this goes back to the pattern of Lori always getting people out of her life that wouldn't go along with her bullshit narrative of her being this elite, translated being, freaking goddess, whatever you want to call it. Oh yeah, she's the freaking goddess of a freaking damn jail cell where she's gonna have to become someone's bitch. Oh, that's a really good lowercase g we got going on there.
And he was broken by that. And again, he's trying to build it back.
And everyone that Lori ever was in contact that loved her, she broke them. She destroyed their hearts. She broke their hearts. Again, that's what a demon does. That's what a demon does. Let me just say this. I got to say it. People say, well, KJ, obviously she has this mental health diagnosis. Well, this mental health diagnosis, she passed with flying colors there in Arizona. Y'all, it's demon possession. Pure and simple.
Right. It was a year ago this month, maybe even this week, Keith, when Lori was arrested in Hawaii and brought back here to Idaho. 5 years. Can you believe that it's been 5 years covering this story from, those early days in Hawaii to now a jailhouse interview?
Yeah, well, it's such a strange story that we couldn't let it go. Of all the things that have happened in Idaho that you have covered, I mean, you were born in the right place, I think, Nate, but for a news hound anyway. But how does this one compare? Because you've had some doozies.
As you said, I don't think this one can compare to any of them. This is up there as far as, the tragedy, not that the others aren't tragic, and just the weirdness, the bizarreness. I mean, we do have the Kohberger trial coming up later this year that you covered as well. And of course, the Christopher Tapp, that's still unfolding in Las Vegas, his now death.
Yeah.
So when can we expect an Idaho book from you?
I think you're the one who's going to have to write it.
I guess just take all the library of datelines from all these different stories and do like an Idaho weekend, just a marathon of all the episodes.
We need more than a weekend.
Right. Well, Keith, we look forward to seeing it Friday night. It's on Dateline, wherever you are. And if you're in the mountain zone where we are, it's on 8 o'clock on the West and East Coast, 9 o'clock. And then I think you can watch it on Peacock the next day. And then it's on the podcast the following week, I think.
Just places to listen and see, you bet.
All over. Anything you want to add, Keith?
Just that it's very good to talk to you, Nate. And thank you for following this story as assiduously as you have. It's been very helpful.
Well, always good to talk with you. And as you mentioned, the producers behind the scenes have been great to work with. And you mentioned that this might be the last one. There might be one or two more.
Maybe more.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be more after she's convicted of Charles Vallow's murder and she gets convicted of attempted murder on Brandon Boudreaux. You can be sure the freaking news media is going to roll it out. And hey, more power to anyone who's interested. I mean, that's what we're sitting here talking about. I wanted to hear from Keith Morrison. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm disappointed that he thinks that he likes her. And I ain't taking that out of context. He said it. He says she's attractive, that she's intelligent, and all of these things. I mean, he could have so easily turned that and said, the woman is a freak show. He could have said she wasn't smart to do what she did. He could have even brought up the fact, I mean, they've got articles out here of her years and years ago before she met that damn asshole where she was actually very pretty. There's articles of before and after of her, this interview. She looks so disgusting. He could have brought that out. But then again, maybe the Rays and OKJ and others have to bring that point out ourselves. Mary Sadler says she is a moneymaker. Sherry Keene says maybe more money to make. So, y'all, that was Keith Morrison talking to Nate Eaton. If you want to catch the Courtroom Insider, I think, I didn't know until this morning. I didn't know it was last night. I got up and they kept citing Courtroom Insider on some of the things that she said. And I was like, okay. And then I thought, well, I got to stick to this thing where I'm not listening to her nasty ass voice. But I'll just scroll through there on the little screen there on the line and get to Keith Morrison, and we'll see what's being said. Keith is playing the game. He's keeping her happy for another exclusive after the trial, says NF Mom. Mary Sadler says, I saw it, and it was good. Hi, Philly. Hi, Cindy Bullock. Kathy Burrell says, give her another 10 years in jail and go back. I bet she would be singing a different tune. Hope Grace says that she's been writing Nate. Yeah, I found that out. She'd been in contact with Keith Morrison and Nate for the last couple of years. Interesting. I think it's a great thing that Idaho will not allow any of these interviews. Why Arizona will allow it? I'm on the fence about that. I honestly, I would just like to know what she has to say in her trial of Charles Vallow's murder. You know, they say that there's one small plus of why someone would want to represent themselves. They don't have to testify if they're self-representing themselves. The jury gets to hear their voice and stuff like that, but we wouldn't get any answers because the state would object if she started a narrative. Or you know how sometimes the state will object and say, ask the question, we're not here to hear testimony. So will Lori testify along with representing herself? I don't know, but why not? I mean, she's done pulled out all the stops, right? She could very well go on the stand and talk her bullshit. You know, let it all hang out. She ain't got nothing to lose, right? She ain't got nothing to lose. Hi, Tina Reddington. So, what have I learned? What have you learned? Keith Morrison, y'all, I have all the respect and admiration for Keith Morrison over the years of all the stuff that he's ever done. To find out that this is the 7th Dateline on this topic, I would say that, you know, people are getting what they pay for, I guess. CSI crowdsourced elimination says she can talk herself all the way to the grave for all I care. Y'all, I'm interested to know if Kobe elaborates with Keith Morrison's questions about before all this went down, what it was like for him growing up in that situation. Because just remember, y'all, she started getting into the prepper stuff, but she was raised in the LDS. So maybe we'll find out something on that end of things. Sherry Keene says, let's hope the men in the jury on the jury are bimbo proof. Y'all, there's no way. There's no way she's going to get acquitted. Okay? The charges are not going to get dismissed. And just remember, back to back on Charles Vallow and Brandon Boudreaux, the judge already stated that in one of her motions to dismiss that, you know, hey, wait a minute. You're talking about Brandon Boudreaux and how that's going to be too late and all that. No, it's going to be back to back. So let me just remind the Rays, because y'all, I depend on y'all. I can't think of everything. I'm going to put on the community wall a picture of that nasty ass hooker, and I'm going to put at the top, I'm going to go, if you are going to watch Dateline, please take some notes, or at least remember and write in the comments, I heard her say this, or she said this, and this is what I think of it. Because I want to include it in my content. I care what the Rays have to say about this, okay? I really do. I want to include it in my content tomorrow. We're going to talk about it and all that good stuff. Thank y'all so much for joining me this morning on such short notice. As always, thank you, Kathy Mama Bear, and others on here that help mod. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope you enjoy your coffee. Thank you, Joe Knight, for being here. Mary Sadler, Miss 56, Kathy Barella, Cindy Bullock, Jet Set J, CSI, Sherry Keynes, thanks for all the good comments. Kathy Mama Bear, you're the best. All of y'all, Tina Reddington, Mary Sadler, Philly, Sugar Butt Starburst, all of y'all. I love you. You know, check the community wall and look forward to whatever you want to do in terms of going and seeing the Dateline, because old KJ's going to be on Altamont Mountain tonight at a nice restaurant and with my hubby, and we're going to enjoy our evening, and we'll get back together tomorrow. So with that said, I love you and keep on looking.